They sent her away as a cruel joke, but the mountain man saw her soul. The daughter nobody wanted. In the dusty frontier town of Red Hollow, people believed a woman's worth could be measured by her face. Eleanor Maythorne had learned that lesson early. Her sisters were admired openly, their laughter welcomed, their beauty discussed like fine china. Eleanor, however, was treated like something that had been misplaced and forgotten. Not ugly in the cruelest sense, but plain, broad-shouldered, awkward in a world that demanded softness. Her mother rarely looked at her without disappointment. "You'd be lucky if anyone takes you," she often said. Her father said nothing at all, which somehow hurt more. Eleanor worked harder than anyone else. She cooked, cleaned, carried water, tended animals. Yet praise never came, only silence and sighs. By the age of 24, her fate was sealed in her family's eyes. Unmarried, unwanted. So when a letter arrived from the mountains, from a widowed rancher seeking a wife, her family laughed. A man living like a beast among rocks. Her sister scoffed. He must be desperate, another added. Her father folded the letter slowly, then looked at Eleanor. "Pack your things." That was how her life was decided, not with hope, but with ridicule. A journey without expectation. The wagon ride into the mountains was long and quiet. Eleanor sat stiffly, hands folded in her lap, staring at the endless stretch of land ahead. She did not cry. Tears were a luxury she had learned not to waste. She knew the truth. She was being sent as a joke. If the man rejected her, her family would say they expected it. If he accepted her, they would benefit. Either way, she lost. As the terrain grew rougher and the air thinner, Eleanor wondered if perhaps this man would be cruel. Or disappointed, or angry. At least cruelty would be familiar. The mountain man, Caleb Holt, did not look like a man who joked. He stood beside his cabin when the wagon arrived, tall, broad, weather-worn. His dark hair was tied back, his beard thick, his eyes steady and unreadable. He did not smile. He did not frown. He simply nodded. "Miss Maythorne," he said calmly. That was it. No judgment, no shock. Eleanor waited for disappointment to cross his face. It never did. A house built on silence. Caleb's cabin was simple but clean. Warm, solid. He showed Eleanor her room, small, but private. "You'll rest today," he said. "Work can wait." No one had ever told her that before. Dinner was quiet, not awkward, just peaceful. Caleb did not ask why she had come. He did not inspect her like livestock. Instead, he asked if she preferred coffee or tea. That night, Eleanor lay awake, confused. Kindness, she realized, could be terrifying when you weren't used to it. Learning to breathe. Days passed. Caleb worked the land. Eleanor helped, carefully at first, unsure of her place. But Caleb noticed her strength, her diligence. "You're good at this," he said once, handing her tools. She froze. Good. No one had ever said that. She worked harder after that, not from fear, but from pride. Slowly, Eleanor stopped apologizing every time she spoke. Slowly, she stood taller. The scars no one sees. Caleb noticed things Eleanor did not realize she revealed. How she flinched when voices rose. How she avoided mirrors. How she expected blame for things that weren't her fault. He never asked. He simply showed her, day by day, that she was safe. In return, Eleanor noticed Caleb's silences. The way he stared at the mountains at dusk. The way he paused before entering his bedroom. Grief, she realized, was another kind of quiet. Winter's test. Winter came early that year. Snow trapped them together. They cooked side by side. Shared stories by the fire. Eleanor spoke of nothing painful. Caleb spoke little of his past. But something grew between them, slow, steady, unforced. One night, Eleanor laughed, truly laughed, and then froze, covering her mouth in fear. Caleb looked at her gently. "You're allowed to be happy here," he said. She cried then, silently, deeply, for the girl who never had been. When love arrives quietly, Caleb did not fall in love with Eleanor suddenly. He fell in love with her consistency, her kindness, her resilience, with the way she noticed things. Eleanor did not fall in love with Caleb loudly. She fell in love with the way he listened, the way he waited, the way he never tried to fix her. Love arrived like snow melting. The past returns. Spring brought visitors, a wagon, familiar voices, her family. They smiled falsely, spoke warmly. Suddenly, Eleanor mattered. They praised Caleb's land, his strength, his worth. They spoke of Eleanor like a transaction. Caleb listened. Then he turned to Eleanor. "What do you want?" he asked. The question shattered her. No one had ever asked before. Choosing herself. Eleanor's voice trembled, but it did not break. "I choose to stay." Her family argued, pleaded, manipulated. Caleb said nothing. He didn't need to. For the first time, Eleanor stood alone, not abandoned, but free. A different kind of marriage. They married quietly. No mocking laughter. No expectations. Only respect. Caleb promised honesty. Eleanor promised loyalty. Neither promised perfection. That was enough. Becoming whole. Years passed. Eleanor never became beautiful in the eyes of the town. But she became something stronger. She became sure. She learned that love did not demand transformation, only truth. And in the mountains, far from cruelty, she finally belonged. This story touched your heart. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Do you believe love is about beauty, or being truly seen?